So let's call this one Ben Kane and the Mystery of the Proprietary Blend. Harry Potter or something.
Welcome to PricePlow.
Now you guys know that I am a huge fan of transparency. Coming from my background at Nutrex, in my opinion, the top brands and products in the industry have to be transparent. Today, I have a little bit of a different opportunity to talk about a product that is not transparent almost at all. And because of that, I'm going to talk about a product that is in a proprietary blend and talk to you a little bit about how to interpret a proprietary blend, why this product isn't really as bad as it may seem. Today, I'm going to be talking about LIPO-6 Hardcore from Nutrex. Nutrex is a company that I actually am a fan of. I've worked with them a long time. I've known them a very long time since I was behind brands as well. I know that they manufacture at some great facilities that I've actually seen myself, as well as they are tested and proven to be drug-free and meet label claim. So Nutrex overall, I've talked about their recent line, the Warrior line, has some great products. LIPO-6 is a legacy fat burner that is just still always going to be popular no matter what. For the transparency of this video, I'm currently bulking. I have not taken this product, but this is going to be more of a label breakdown and explainer because of the fact that it's a proprietary blend, and I want to talk to you a little bit about that. As for the devil's advocate side of proprietary blends, I'm going to tell you there are some... No, I'm not going to say that. There's no real reason to ever use proprietary blend. I personally disagree with them using the proprietary blend on this. I know LIPO-6 is an old, long-standing legacy product, and they probably want to protect their IP a little bit. Honestly, the ingredients in here are nothing to really protect the dosages of. I don't think there's anything special going on. I don't really know why they did it, and just being frank, I disagree with it, and I wish they hadn't. But that being said, I'm going to break down the label and give you the goods, the bads, and my final thoughts on the product overall. So let's call this one Ben Kane and the Mystery of the Proprietary Blend. Harry Potter or something. So LIPO-6 Hardcore is obviously going to be a fat burner. They claim that it's going to give you maximum weight loss, fire up your metabolism, give you high stimulant energy, and reduce appetite. Now I can definitely see that for a couple different reasons. The thing being that the proprietary blend going on in it is a little bit confusing, but thankfully they have disclosed one of the ingredients that gives us the clues to understand the rest of them. Now, normally when I break down a proprietary blend, I take the, obviously the first couple ingredients and look at the clinical dosages of them. I'll give like a little bit of a leeway in there, but have a general idea of how much should be left over for the rest of the ingredients if those are at clinical dosages. And that kind of gives you an idea of whether or not the company is being honest, truthful, or I guess really not honest because they're not really telling you much, but they're being with good intentions in their dosages. Now in this product, for the most part, it makes sense. And there's a lot of good dosages in here. There's one ingredient that I personally don't think is dosed effectively, and it is a little bit hurtful for me because I love this ingredient and it's hard. So I'm going to start off not at the top of this one, but I'm going to start off with you with what we know about this product. Nutrex actually discloses that this product has 300 milligrams of caffeine anhydrous in it. Now that's kind of nice, and caffeine anhydrous is kind of the last high dose ingredient that would be in here. So that gives us an idea of the range of where the ingredients before it and the ingredients after it can fall into. And for the most part, it kind of actually does make sense. With the ingredient panel up, I'm going to talk a little bit about why that makes sense. Caffeine anhydrous is at 300 milligrams, which tells us since the whole blend is 646.5 milligrams, that tells you that the tyrosine is going to be at least 300 milligrams. Now, it actually kind of makes sense. If tyrosine is also at like 301 milligrams, that gives us 45.5 milligrams left over for Calorburn, GP, Bioperin, Warwolfia, and Tube Club Moss. Actually kind of breaks down pretty nicely. Calorburn should be around 40 milligrams, which then gives us 5.5 milligrams left over for Warwolfia and Tube Club Moss. Tube Club Moss is going to be in the micrograms. Actually, in their Warrior pre-workout, they use 200 micrograms. So if we're thinking it's going to be around the same, that leaves us with just enough to give us a couple milligrams of raw wolfia. Now, understand, I didn't go down to the milligram here because I don't really know where everything's going to be at, but that's kind of the leeway of where these things probably are. Again, because this is a proprietary blend, take this all with a pinch of salt. I don't really know if that's where it's gonna be. It's my interpretation. I'm good friends with the people at Nutrex, and I didn't personally ask them to give me any dosages because I'm trying to look at this through the eyes of a consumer and what you would actually know going into a store and looking at the product. That being said, let's talk a little bit about the ingredients and what they would do. Tyrosine, like I said before, is the ingredient that is probably kind of underdosed. Tyrosine for me, some brands will be 500 milligrams to 750 milligrams. Now, we know it's not at 750 milligrams. I personally would like a whole gram or more of tyrosine for pre-workout. Now, this isn't a pre-workout, so I can understand that they're going a little bit lower. However, I'm expecting this to be around 300 milligrams-ish. At that dosage, I'm not really expecting a whole lot from tyrosine. It might give you a very small amount of extra focus, but I'm not really pulling for much because I know that tyrosine, for me, I need at least a gram to really get that kind of effect. Caffeine anhydrous, we know, is 300 milligrams, which is going to be a hefty amount of energy. They say here that it's going to actually give you high stimulant energy. I don't know if I would give 300 milligrams of caffeine high stimulant, but for a lot of people that is going to be a lot of caffeine. So it kind of makes sense for the average consumer to think that's high stimulant. Caloric burn, if this is at the 40 milligrams, I mean, even if it's at 20 milligrams, we've seen in some good products at half dosages, that's a great dosage right there for caloric burn. Caloric burn GP comes from one of our favorite companies, NNB Nutrition in China. They do an awesome job of providing you a really, like, a true grains of paradise. And one of the things that they talk about is the fact that when they tested ingredients out there that were claiming to be grains of paradise, a lot of the time it was just ginger extract with 6-paradol added in. The huge problem in the industry is companies not actually giving what they're telling you. Now, we actually have a graph of the test for caloric burn GP. I'll put it up on the screen. I think I can find it. It actually shows the 4 peaks for the main constituents that are studied in the studies showing caloric burn's benefits. Caloric burn can help out a lot with your pursuit of fat loss and weight loss. Bioperin it's a small dose, so we know that I'm not looking for a lot out of this. It's pretty cheap to add. Bioperin helps with the absorption of a lot of ingredients through inhibition of a few different enzymes. It might be helpful here. I don't know of any specific studies helping with the other ingredients in this formula, but Bioperin is kind of thrown into a lot of formulas for that reason. It can help out a lot with absorption. If it isn't specific to this ingredient, well, it's still pretty cheap to add to the formula and could help with your absorption of a lot of different stuff. Finishing up with Rauwolfia and tube club moss. Rauwolfia is nice because it definitely will give you the expectations of firing up your metabolism, helping with your weight loss, high stimulant energy, and reducing your appetite. Rauwolfia does all of those for me, and it's nice because the Rauwolfia version of Yohimbe personally doesn't give me as much anxiety, paranoia, or negative feelings as the normal Yohimbe or Yohimbe HCl would give me. So I like that dosage there, assuming it's below Bioperin, which is usually around 5 milligrams, but it's above tube club moss, which we're expecting to be a couple hundred micrograms. I'd expect it to be between 1 and 2 milligrams of Rauwolfia there. Now, finishing off with tube club moss, I can't say this word today. Toothed club moss is a source of huperzine A, which is going to help lower acetylcholine esterase in the body, which is the enzyme that gets rid of acetylcholine. Acetylcholine is depleted when you're training. This will help make sure that you aren't getting rid of as much of it normally. The only thing that I don't really love about this is that it doesn't give you any kind of acetyl group or choline donor to create acetylcholine. Normally, when you have a source of huperzine A in a product, you're also going to give ingredients in here that will help increase acetylcholine in the body. We don't have that here, but this is kind of like this is my interpretation. This is a budget fat burner that is not super robust, doesn't have a ton of really crazy ingredients, but it does give you a few hard-hitting ones. I told Nutrex when they sent me this, I was on the phone with Paul, the VP of sales yesterday, and I told him, dude, this is not my favorite fat burner. I'm going to be really honest with you. This is not going to be the best review of it. It's not the best out there, and I refuse to say that. I will break it down for the consumers. I will explain to them how they can look through the proprietary blend, but let's not expect this to be your be-all, end-all fat loss solution. And we really should be remembering that with fat burners, we really shouldn't expect this to be doing any magic to begin with. It's just a help in addition to your diet and training. That being said, Nutrex has had some really, really great sales recently for their Warrior line with the launch of it. And they're also moving more towards a direct-to-consumer solutions for their consumers to be finding Nutrex. So you may be able to find this at an incredibly low price and get a couple great ingredients in there. You get caffeine for the morning, which will wake you up. You get your caloric burn, which will help with your fat burn. Get some Rauwolfia, which will definitely kickstart some fat burning, and some huperzine A, which will never hurt with your focus. And that's kind of it, guys. LIPO-6 has a long history of having a lot of different iterations. They've made international versions, they've made higher stim versions, they've made all sorts of different versions of LIPO-6. This one, in my opinion, is not one of the better ones. I probably wouldn't pick this up for the full price, but if you see it at a good discount, it might be useful for you. Guys, thanks so much for watching. I may have rambled a little bit on this one. I wanted to come at this from a different angle. I never really talk about proprietary blends. When I do, it usually isn't very nice. This one still turned out kind of positive in some ways. It could still be a good source of some ingredients for you, but for the most part, I would look at the other LIPO-6 offerings if I were you. With that being said, If you have any questions about Nutrex, you can always run over to our blog at PricePlow.com/Nutrex, where you can find all your news, reviews, and interviews on their products. We will be reviewing the rest of the Warrior line. I'm a fan of a lot of the stuff in there, especially their new flavors that are going to be coming out. But if you have any other questions for me, you can leave them below, and I'd be happy to talk about the products with you. Thanks, guys, so much for watching, and have a great day.
Welcome to PricePlow.